Well, that's a much better way of starting a film than looking at my usual ugly mug. So today I'm in the Brecon Beacons, and it's not my normal day for filming today, but I'm supporting my partner Ruth. She's doing a 20-mile run in the Beacons, and I'm just on hand for things like emergency stops, extra fuel, things like that, and I'm meeting her at 2 locations along the route, this being the second. Now, I'm not sure what time she's due. It's anything between 1 and 2 hours from now. I don't have any phone signals, so I can't track her, so I'm just taking it on a bit of a wing and a prayer that she's going to arrive between those 2 times. Now, that gives me a total of 20 minutes before I need to get back and just be here for if and when she arrives. Now, just down here to my right, when I got here, there's this bit of pine woodland, and down in there as well there's a lovely waterfall, series of waterfalls going down into the woods. And the pine trees, I've found there's some beautiful cones on the floor, and I think that will give me an opportunity to quickly photograph something while I wait. So I haven't got my usual gear. I'm travelling light today. I've got my M50, which is what I normally film on, and I've got this lens here, which is, let me find, where are you? This 55 to 200mm lens that goes with this camera. So hopefully I can get some shots with that. Like I say, I normally film on that camera, but today I've got myself a little Pocket 3 to try, a new gizmo, so I'm going to use this to film on and take the shots with this behind me, so I'll see you in just a second. Right, so I've just arrived at my little spot, not 40 yards away from the van, and I want to show you what I'm thinking of shooting very, very quickly. So I'll just spin the camera around. All around me here are hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of these beautiful pine cones, and there has to be a fantastic shot in here somewhere. All that I need to find is a nice tight cluster, and I think I'm on for something quite special, even though I haven't got my normal gear with me. So let me have a route around and see what I can come up with. So I've got a nice little shot all lined up. Hopefully the dog won't walk through it and destroy it. She's currently ferreting around up there looking for sticks, but my composition is down here lined up on the camera, and I'm just going to talk you through it very, very quickly. I'll show you through this first of all. So it's this little grouping down here that I'm interested in, and I'm going to flip you over to the back of the video camera now so you can see it in a little bit more detail just how the composition's set up. Annoyingly, the rain has started now, but that's the composition as I see it. A couple of annoying little things, but I can live with them on this occasion because the cluster of cones is so nice. I'm not overly keen on this bit here. This is one of the roots of the pine tree just coming into shot there. Absolutely nothing I can do about that because it is what it is. There's a couple of little stones that I can't really move because they'll just leave some dark patches underneath if I do that. So I'm going to have to live with those. As luck would have it, they do blend in quite nicely with the colours of the composition, but I find it a really nice, pleasing composition. So in terms of settings, I'm currently on f16 and 1.5 second exposure, 100 ISO. I'm going to take that now quickly because this rain is really getting quite heavy, and I believe this little camera isn't waterproof. So countdown timer, I've got it on 10 seconds, and when that's done I shall put that on now. Well, I hope you like that image. I'm currently sheltering in the lee of this tree here just behind me. We really are in an exposed location here, and that wind has really started blowing across the tops there. Now I'm in two minds as to whether to find another one of those, because I'm sure there are plenty, or move on and try and find something else. I'll spend 5 more minutes here, and if I can pick up on something, I'll go through it briefly and then put that one on as well. So I have found myself another shot. I'll not go through all the settings again like I did just a minute ago. It is pretty much the same setup, f16 and whatever the exposure is when I take it will be. It's 100 ISO. What I've done is the lens that I've got, the little zoom lens that I've got it fully zoomed in as far as it will go, and I've just moved the tripod in and out, up and down, until I get the closest focusing point I can get. That does mean that I'm going to have to crop ever so slightly because I can't get this camera as close as I would like. Now that's a useful thing to consider when you haven't got macro lenses. If you've got a reasonable sensor, for example, you can just pull out a little bit and crop in afterwards. At the moment it's quite sunny, and my composition, I'll just flip you around, is down here, but as you can see there's bright sunshine on it at the moment, and I want that to go in. I don't want any sunshine on this, but it's basically this little grouping just down here. As soon as that goes in, I will put the little video camera on and talk you through the composite. So someone just about almost wrecked my composition. She came flying in with a stick and threw it right on top of my shot. As luck would have it, it wasn't ruined. Yes, you might well look guilty. Right, I'll quickly get on with it before she destroys it for good. Right, talk you through it just now. So this is my composition, and I think I'm going to go for a vertical format. Like the other one, there's one or two little bits just in the way that I need to just deal with. If I can see where it's going to be, somewhere around there's a white twig. That one just there needs to go. It's surprising just how a little thing like that can really make a difference. Down here as well, you've got another twig, but there's nothing I can do about that at all. It just is what it is. But what I like about this composition is you've got these converging cones coming together to meet these two at the bottom here, and I really like that. And what I've done is you've almost got this point of interest just here, but I've offset that to make it more on this third intersection, which is what I tend to like. If I was to move the camera down a little bit, which I could do, just move it down. I don't want to have too much of this left-hand cone, the bottom of this showing, and I really want that to be nice and tight. Otherwise, you start to wonder what's beyond that point, and it stops you focusing on the real interesting stuff. So I quite like that, and you've got a little bit of interest up here at the top as well, just to help it all hang together and just sit nicely in the frame. So in terms of settings, it's exactly the same as before. It's f16, 100 ISO and a ½ second exposure. So I shall put that on now, and then I'll try and find something a little bit different. So here's me talking about looking for more photographs. I need to get back and get the refreshments ready for my trail running partner, my trail running other half, and hopefully I haven't missed her in getting too involved in the photography. I'll see you in a second. Well, hello everybody and welcome back again. It's day 2 of my trip to Wales. Yesterday was all a little bit frantic. I desperately wanted to get some photography in, and I'm not sure in hindsight whether the information that I was presented came across as well as I would have liked. All sorts of things to consider with Ruth, who was out on her run, whether I'd missed her, and trying to do a little bit of photography and get back to the van in good time. And then, of course, with Willow, our dog, with a damn stick wouldn't leave me alone and kept dropping the damn thing everywhere I tried to find a decent shot. But all that's behind me now, and I'm out again. I'm hopefully going to find something this morning. So that was now 3 days ago, and no sooner had I been talking to you, sat right here in the Brecon Beacons, than the rain picked up, the wind picked up, and it just didn't let up. And that was the start of one of our named storms here in the UK, which was Storm Kathleen. And that went on for the whole of the weekend, into most of Monday, and I think it brightened up Monday evening. And it's now Thursday morning, and I'm out again, desperate to get my photographic fix in. It'd be nice this morning if I could get certainly at least one image to complement the two that I got over in the Brecon Beacons. It'd be nice to get two, so I get my triptych for the end of the film and all three separate images. But I'm not going to push it, I'm just going to enjoy the creative process this morning. Now I have, for continuity purposes, got the M50 again with me this morning. I've not brought my camera kit. I thought I would continue with that little challenge that I had over in Wales, just to see what I can get. I'm heading to a place that I know really well, and looking forward to this morning. But I got up this morning, the alarm was set for 3 a.m. and it's now 4 o'clock, and I'm about 10 minutes away from where I'm going. And I'm going to hopefully, well, I will almost certainly be listening to the dawn chorus, and I'm hoping to capture some of that on video for you this morning, just so that you don't have to get up at this time of day to enjoy what I'm about to enjoy. So I'll see you when I get there. So I've just literally entered the woods, and it's beautifully silent. Not a single bird song to be heard yet, and it's nice to experience the wood like this, because I feel like I'm experiencing it now like the rest of the wildlife does throughout the night. It's currently 4:20, and there's not a single human being other than myself down here, which is as you can imagine, it's to be expected. There's not many people as mad as I am. I've got bluebells coming up on the woodland floor another month, and this woodland will be absolutely filled with these things, and no doubt I'll be coming back to have a photograph of them. I'm going to head close to the river. There is a little bit of noise there, but as I've mentioned on other films, that these ecotones or transitional zones within habitats are where you hear the most, or you get the most interest from a wildlife point of view, because different habitats meet, you get a greater concentration of wildlife. So just down here we've got the river, and I've come to a little section that's not got any waterfalls or weirs in it, so that I'll still be able to hear the bird song. So I'm going to turn this camera off now and wait for the dawn chorus to start. How spooky does that look? So I can hear my first birds. In fact, I heard one or two birds about half an hour ago, but they were probably a few hundred yards up the hill where there's a housing estate, and the street lights tend to get the birds singing early. I've been specifically waiting to hear the birds in the woods, and the one I just heard a second ago was what I expected, which was a robin. Very, very common bird here in Britain, as most of the birds we'll hear this morning will be, but that one particularly is well known by and loved by everyone. It's the one that turns up when you open your sandwich box when you're out on a walk. It's the one that's always there, never fails, comes and waits for an easy meal. You often hear it when you're walking home after a New Year's Eve party, singing in the street lights. A very, very territorial little bird. Anyway, I'll put you back on when I can hear it a little bit more clearly, and I'll shut up talking. Certainly interesting to hear what the first bird is. I knew it was actually going to be a robin or a wren. Yep, another one just coming in now. Third one. And right in the distance I can hear a crow calling. Not really a woodland bird, the crow, more of an open farmland bird. You find it on the fields. Often looking for an easy meal, roadkill. The sounds are all blending together at the moment. There's nothing overly distinct apart from the robin right next to where I am. I can hear a wood pigeon just getting going. I hope this is picking up on camera. So far we've got song thrush, missel thrush, crow, robin, wren, wood pigeon, and a hint of a blackbird, so 7 species so far. There's the wren, loud and clear. I'll just tell you a little bit of interesting fact about wrens. Wrens build anything up to 6 individual nests for the female to choose from, and he does his little song. The nests are all built within a close vicinity of one another, often in shrubs, under riverbanks, under the undercut, underscoured riverbanks, in buildings even. And he builds on his own up to these 6 nests, anything up to that number, and then he sings above them. Once he attracts a female, he takes her to one of the nests, he does a little dance, and then she bobs in the nest, checks it out, and comes out, and somehow lets him know whether she likes it or not. And I was actually once in a bird hide that I'd constructed, as it happens, on this river when I was photographing dippers many years ago. And unbeknown to me, that when I wasn't in the hide, it was constructed out of raw materials. A wren had built a nest in the banking behind me, and as I was in the hide waiting for dippers, I saw the wren doing his little song. A female came and joined him. They stood on the perch facing each other, and he sang and he rotated round on the branch, doing this little dance, flapping his wings and singing. And then he took her to the nest, and I saw all this. The nest was just over my shoulder. He took her to the nest, she followed him, she went in, and then they both flew off. And that's how I know that this goes on, and I don't think that's ever been documented before. Real privilege to see and witness. And that's him singing there. So I'm going to switch this off now and come back to you in a few more minutes. I'm going to move position and go to another part of the woodland, maybe start having a walk around and trying to pick up individual stronger calls. I'll see you in a few minutes. Now that one that you can hear going dit, 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 that's one that I don't hear too often. That's a tree creeper. You can almost say a little bit of an uninspiring song, but I'm sure Mrs. Tree Creeper finds it very attractive. I'm finding that most of the birds are in the tops of the trees at the moment, because I presume that's where the most light is, and also combination of that and where the voices carry the furthest. That's really coming through quite well now. So that's the tree creeper. Right, so let's go and find another one. So already the sounds are really quite deafening when combined. But it's still all being made by a small number of species. There's the robin. Robin high in the treetop. I can hear distant great tits. Robin loud and clear there. And a wren again singing in the distance behind the camera. But you can hear that cacophony of joint sounds of all the birds singing together, which often makes people become overwhelmed by birdsong because they don't really hear the individual sounds, they just hear everything combined. And it can sometimes seem like a struggle to pick out the individual birds, but there's the great tit. People say that it sounds like it's saying teacher, teacher, teacher. There you go. There's quite a lot of those in this woodland, quite a lot in most woodlands to be fair. So we can get a bit closer. Really coming through loud and clear now. Have a little sit down and just enjoy these lovely sounds. All done. That was good. Enjoyed that. 2 hours I've been out there, and what a cracking dawn chorus it turned out to be. Perfect conditions, lovely and warm, no wind, no rain, just ideal for listening to the bird song. So I'm now going to have a quick brew, and hopefully I've got my kettle. Yes. I'm going to have a quick brew and just have 10 minutes chill time, get my camera gear together and head back out and see what I can find to photograph. There's certainly a lot of ramsons, wild garlic coming up, 1 or 2 little flowers, flower heads that I've seen. Bluebells a little bit early, but certainly there are some flowers dotted around, but no expectations. I'll just see what I can come across. So yeah, quick brew and I'll see you shortly. So I found myself my first shot of the morning, and this is, I'm pretty sure, is going to be a really lovely shot. I'll just show you what I've got here now. Just spin that round. So I've been here so many times in the past. This is a beautiful patch, almost an ocean of wild garlic, and what I've done is I've found a nice cluster of flowers in the immediate foreground here that I'm going to use as my main compositional component. Now, granted, these flowers aren't fully out yet, but the benefit of that is, this one's not far off, but the benefit of that is that because these are so early coming out, they will stand out so well against that sea of green. So I will quickly put the video camera on and I will talk you through the composition now. So this was the composition that I initially arrived at, and I decided in the end that I didn't like the green bridge. I prefer my images to have a little bit more of a semi-natural look to them, so I'm going to just dip that down so you can just see the legs of the bridge but not the green railings. What I really love about this are these beautiful lush green leaves in the foreground, and I've filled this half of the frame up with the flowers themselves. Now we've got the log here on the left just to create a little bit more extra interest, and we've got the stream bed running from the top left hand corner to the top right hand corner, just giving that composition a real nice comfortable feel about it. In terms of settings, I'm going to shoot this at f16 at 100 ISO. I think also it really suits this 16:9 format. So I'll take that now. I'm going to focus on this particular flower for this shot, but I'm also going to take a couple of extra shots as well, one focusing on this and one focusing on that, just so I have a backup if I decide I want to focus stack the image to get more depth of field, because even at f16, focusing on this cluster of flowers right in the foreground, the chances are that the distance is probably going to be a little bit soft. And until I get on the computer, I'm not sure whether that's the effect I really want to have. I may well like it falling off, but sometimes I like it to be completely sharp. But that's basically the composition that I'm going to go for now, so I'll put that shot on now. So I think I found a shot. If I can just wrestle my way into here. I've just been back to get my tripod, and I've literally just a couple of minutes ago chucked my camera down on the floor so I could remember where I was. And what's interested me is this one here, this Ramson flower here, this one here, and then you've got another one there and one there, and together they form a nice cluster of vertical composition. And if I can just try and align them with this little video camera, you can see there you've got a line of that four going into the distance, and you've got all this lovely leafy vegetation underneath them. So I've tried to take a couple of handheld shots, but it didn't really work. I can't get the shutter speed, so I've just been and got the tripod from where I had it, where I just plonked it down whilst I was just investigating this area. Been to get it back now, and I'm going to just try and set it up and try and weave it in as best I can, and I might just be able to get something from this. So here you can just see roughly my composition, and the settings that I've chosen for this shot actually are, I'm going to just adjust that, I'm going to make that 100 ISO, I'm going to leave it at f11. I quite like the way that that's looking all nice and dark now. What I'm going to do now, I've got 100 ISO f11 and a fifth of a second, and I'm quite happy with that. I'll switch you onto the video camera now, and then you can see the composition a bit more clearly. So there's my composition. It's really nice and clean and tidy. I'm very happy with it. I've got this beautiful foreground element here, which is really gorgeous, and I'm going to focus my attention on that particularly. And then, as I say, you've got these four here individual stems going off into the distance. You could argue that this middle cluster is a little bit untidy. I may try and manage that in a second when I've got the first shot in the bag, because what's happened here is that you've actually got two flower heads that are stuck together, and I don't know whether I can change it so that that is out of the way, if I can just bend it under a leaf, and maybe that might clean the composition up. But I really love this leading line that you've got throughout the vegetation. You've got this beautiful textured leaf in the foreground and going into that darkness in the top left hand corner. Right, so I had a bit of a play with the flower heads to see if I could separate them and just have one flower head, but what happened is that when I did that, the flower head that was left was a little bit scratty looking and didn't really lend itself to a photograph. It actually made it worse. So what I've done is I've just rearranged them slightly so that there's a bit more separation between the two, so they're not just sort of jammed together like they were. And if you look at the composition now, it's a lot tidier for it. So again, it's pretty straightforward. You've got that lead in going from the bottom right to the top left. At the moment I'm now on f18, 100 ISO and 1/5 of a second, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take one with the focus just there, and then I'm going to take a series of images actually. I'd like to get this in one complete shot, but I'm quite happy to do a little focus stack if I can. Come on, just change that. Oops. Focus on that back one there. And then I've got a sequence with front to back sharp parts of the image. So I'll put that second one again on now. Really quite happy with that last shot. It worked out pretty well, I have to say. So I think I'm done. I'm going to leave it there. It's been a right mixed bag of a video, this one. Starting off in the Brecon Beacons. We had the storm, so I had to pack that in. Been in here this morning, done the dawn chorus. That was absolutely lovely. And then finished off with a couple of images with the M50. So all in all, a pretty reasonably successful video, I felt. You've obviously seen the whole thing, so let me know in the comments below what you think of the video and also today's images. If you're not already a subscriber, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a nice big thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. As always, if you want to support the channel more, there is YouTube and Patreon membership, and you can join those from as little as 99p per month. Always good to have that support, and it really makes a difference to the channel. So until next time, I will say thank you all so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.